These lefties are weird, y'all. Seriously, I don't know a more accurate way that I could put it, because every time they get an opportunity to ask an actual, intelligent, well thought out question, they blow it and they revert right back to this obsession with skin color and always trying to divide us. But thank God for people like Vivek Ramaswamy, who refuse to get down with these wicked, twisted media games. I want y'all to watch how he completely obliterates this reporter that tried to bait him into saying something racist.
You didn't say that you condemn white supremacy.
I'm not going to recite some catechism for you. I'm against vicious racial discrimination in this country. So I'm not pledging allegiance to your new religion of modern wokeism, which actually fits the test. I'm not going to bend the knee to your religion. I'm sorry. I'm not asking you to bend the knee to mine, and I'm not going to bend the knee to yours. But do I condemn vicious racial discrimination? Yes, I do. Am I going to play your silly game of gotcha? No, I'm not. And frankly, this is why people have lost trust. And I know you're going to go print the headline tomorrow. I already know this. We already know how your game works. Vivek Ramaswamy refuses to condemn white supremacy because you asked a stupid question. The reality is, I condemn vicious racial discrimination in this country, but the kind of vicious and systematic racial discrimination we see today is discrimination on the basis of race in a very different direction. You want to know what the best way is to end discrimination on the basis of race? Stop discriminating on the basis of race. Do that, and we're going to move this country forward. And I don't care whether you're black or white or brown or anything in between. That's how we're going to unite this country. You people have been responsible for dividing this country to a breaking point, creating a projection of national division. I meet people from the south side of Chicago to meetings like this one of every shade of melanin, multiple, from man to woman, doesn't make a difference, who are hungry for reviving unity in this country. And you, with your catechism that you try to get to politicians to whatever fake headline you're going to print on the basis of this conversation tomorrow, that's what's dividing this country to a breaking point. Shame on you. Look people in the eye and tell them what you've actually failed to tell them for the last 5 years. Own the accountability for your own failures as the media. That's how we rebuild trust in this country. And until then, I don't have a lot of patience to play the games.
What do you expect from
That's gooder than chicken right there. Oh my goodness, I love this man. Just truth bomb after truth bomb with no regard for any liberal tear that gets shed along the way. And when Trump wins later on this year, he needs to make Vivek his vice president. Somehow, some way, we got to get him in the White House, because this is the kind of patriotism, the kind of blunt, ruthless honesty that we need in the face of these lions' dens and these controversies that present themselves. Not backing down, not curling up in a ball, not fleeting when trouble presents itself, just attacking it head on. And I love it. And do you remember when the media asked these same kind of common sense, obnoxious questions to Trump, and he repeatedly answered them over and over and over again?
I denounce white supremacy, okay? Wait, are you listening? I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
What's your next question? I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
You start off with white supremacy, I denounce it.
Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups,
Sure,
and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
Are you
I'm willing
prepared
to do that.
specifically?
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke.
Any group of hate, I am, whether it's white supremacy, whether it's any other kind of supremacy, whether it's Antifa, whether it's any group of hate, I am very concerned about it, and I'll do something about it. In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. These sinister ideologies must be defeated. Hate has no place in America. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans. I didn't even know he endorsed me. David Duke endorsed me? Okay. All right. I disavow. Okay?
What about David Duke is saying to his supporters and followers, vote for Donald Trump. White supremacists are saying, vote. Do you want those votes?
No, I don't want them, and I don't want him to say it.
Let me ask you about this one.
Are you ready before you ask the question?
Newt Gingrich said every Republican should repudiate this guy no matter what it takes.
And I do. Rebuked. Is that okay? Rebuked.
Rebuked.
Done.
Done.
When Chris joined, we had a news conference, and they asked me the exact same question. I said, I disavow. I put out a tweet, and I put out on Facebook that I totally disavow.
And I disavowed then. I disavowed today on ABC with George Stephanopoulos. I disavowed again. I mean, how many times are you supposed to disavow? But I disavow.
Secondly, David Duke and all were disavowed. I disavowed him on Friday. I disavowed him on Twitter and Facebook. They were disavowed again. I disavowed him every time I speak to somebody virtually. It was totally disavowed.
So are you prepared right now to make a clear and unequivocal statement renouncing the support of all white supremacists?
Of course I am. Of course I am. I mean, there's nobody that's done so much for equality as I have. David Duke is a bad person who I disavowed on numerous occasions over the years. I disavowed him. I disavowed the KKK. Just to put it clear, I disavowed him in the past, and I disavow him now.
What do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
And I disavowed David Duke, and I disavowed him the day before at a major news conference, but I disavowed David Duke. Now, if you look on Facebook, right after that, I also disavowed David Duke. When we looked at it and looked at the question, I disavowed David Duke. So I've disavowed David Duke all weekend long on Facebook, on Twitter, and obviously it's never enough.
How do you feel about the David Duke quasi-endorsement?
I don't need anybody's endorsement.
Would you repudiate David Duke?
Sure.
How many times do I have to reject? I've rejected David Duke. I've rejected the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. From the time I'm 5 years old, I rejected them.
David Duke and robocalls are out again, the white supremacist movement supporting you. Do you have any words for that?
Well, I disavow the Ku Klux Klan, which obviously I'm going to disavow.
Do you want white supremacists to vote for you?
No, I don't at all. Not at all. And I will tell you, this is not about hate. This is about love.
I have to say, I've said it many times, and let me be clear again, I condemn the KKK. I condemn all white supremacists. I condemn the Proud Boys.
I spoke out forcefully against hatred, bigotry, and violence, and strongly condemned the neo-Nazis, the white supremacists, and the KKK. So here is my first statement. When I heard about Charlottesville, we're closely following the terrible events unfolding in Charlottesville, Virginia. This is me speaking. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America.
The fact that they continue to ask these questions to conservatives is just downright condescending at this point. I mean, the agenda is clear as day, but pray for them, y'all. Hopefully sometime in my lifetime, they wake up out of the wokeness and they just start living in reality, because this sort of behavior about pigmentation, it just isn't normal. Like, I mean, it is for them, but land sakes, enough is enough. And what's crazy and extremely ironic is that it's usually white liberals that are always popping off at the mouth about white supremacy. Like, what? That don't make no sense. Like, it just doesn't add up. And can you imagine how awkward their interactions must be on a weekly basis, going out, meeting people for the first time, and instead of, the usual, hey, how are you? What do you do for a living? Nice to meet you. Casual talk. Their responses and introductions probably go more along the lines of, hey, you're black. How has the white man held you down lately? Or, what's up? You're Mexican. How about that racism at the border? Those darn conservative bigots, man, they just not wanting to allow anyone and everyone into our country is evil. Those people are the worst. That's probably how it goes. But seriously, they got to stop with this wannabe retro segregation mess. It's 2024, not 1964. That sin has been repented of and made right. We can move on and work together all as in unison in peace now. But I got to show another clip of Vivek from that same day. My man wasn't done. After already having to deal with that race bait attempt, he went on to school and call out another reporter. Watch this.
I want to have a conversation, because the historical pattern with the media is lie, lie, lie again. When proven to have lied, hide from accountability. From the Hunter Biden laptop story to the origin of COVID to the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that never was. I'm still waiting for one honest anchor in the mainstream media to just look their own audience in the eye and say, hey, I apologize. We lied to you, we got it wrong, and we'll never have this happen again. I challenge your guy, Alex, who likes to write, I would say clickbaity headlines to say at least you're from a new generation of leadership. Go ahead and step up, and maybe you can do it. Or maybe, Catherine, I'd bet on you sooner to do it. But somebody needs to actually, from the next generation, heal that divide of trust between the media and the people. I'll look forward to having that conversation with the media with what happens on January 15th. It'll be a surprise. They'll try to sweep it under the rug, try to minimize the importance of Iowa, and try to set the same narrative they have been. And I think that we need to use every occasion we have to at least rebuild trust with the American public to say, here's the narrative we've set, here's where we were proven wrong, and here's where we own accountability. That's what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Consider it. It'd be good for you.
The truth shall set you free. People need to stop thinking worldly and focusing on these petty man-made issues that aren't even really issues and start thinking righteously, because God's word has the solution to all this. And I'll keep repeating it till the day I die. Release from this fake oppression and this victim mindset and realize that all of us can be victorious over everything if you have Jesus Christ. That's the only one that can curve and cure all the cravings, all the problems and dilemmas and scenarios that, are filled with trial sometimes and all of that. Only Jesus Christ can beat that, because he beat death. He overcame everything. And I'm sorry if I just spit on you and loogied all over the screen, but that's the fix that this world needs. And I'm going to keep on spreading the good news. I'm going to keep on sharing the gospel. That's how we roll on this channel. And it's more apparent now than ever that there's this select group of people, for whatever reason, that they really want to see things completely burned to the ground in America and all over the world, it seems like. And what better way to do that than to constantly promote this facade of racial tension and all of that hate inside of these 24-hour news cycles, and to flood our lives with this goofy woke ideology about white privilege and systemic injustice and all of that nonsense. But for those of us that live in the real world, especially in the great United States of America and not this liberal cocoon of propaganda, we love every human being because they were beautifully created by God Almighty and knitted together purposefully in their mama's womb. And we love how if you live here, it doesn't matter what your level of tan or pastiness is. It doesn't matter how paper white or how dark as charcoal you may be or anything in between. Like Vivek said, with a little intelligence, grind, and perseverance, you can create a multi-million-dollar business, possibly even billions, from the ground up, thanks to capitalism. No other place in the world allows you to do that to the extent that our country does. And there's not a role in society today that can't be attained by someone whose qualifications meet or exceed the requirements of that position. Look at the athletes, look at the celebrities that get paid absurd amounts of money to play games and to act and to do the things they do. Look at the positions and importance levels of society as far as notoriety and fame and all that people have attained. Lots of black folks, lots of Latino folks, everything in between, Asian, Indian, white, that is irrelevant in today's day and age. And real Americans like me, we want all men and women to live in truth and to work hard to elevate their communities, because I know that the saying rings true. United we stand, divided we fall. And I'm not about to throw in the towel and watch these radical social justice warriors destroy what millions of brave men and women have sacrificed, fought, and died for since the 1700s. It's not about to happen over here. I don't think the Almighty is going to let that happen, though. In all honesty, I think that God has us here at this very moment for a purpose. He's going to rise up people in positions of power to serve their purpose, to serve their season. And if he is for us, who can be against us? Nobody. If the Alpha and Omega loves you like he does and you have looked to him, it's all going to work out. So let's continue to stand strong, 10 toes down, always with love as the foundation. I don't hate anybody. I don't wish pain and suffering on anybody. I love everybody, but that's why I tell people the truth. And that's why I call out and rebuke nonsense and sin and lawlessness when I see it, because when I lived in lawlessness, when I lived in sin, it winds up in death. It winds up in bad things, sad, sappy, depressive states. Nothing good can come out of the ways and the lies that these people promote. And heaven forbid, if things ever really do hit the fan, make sure you're well trained, heavily armed, and ready to show what that Second Amendment is all about. Because we live in America. We have that freedom. God bless America. God bless Vivek Ramaswamy, Donald Trump, everybody. I pray for their safety. I pray that Vivek wakes up to the truth as well, because I know he's a practicing Hindu. I pray that he turns to Christ, but he's doing a great job as far as everything else is concerned. But he needs to get the most important thing right before it's all said and done. And he needs to turn and pursue the only path to heaven, which is through Jesus. So What do y'all think about all this? I know that was a long-winded tangent. That's just, y'all know how I get down over here. If you've seen my videos before, I'm not going to apologize for it, but I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments section. Let's keep this conversation rolling. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, ring that notification bell so you get notified anytime I post a new video. If you like what I'm doing over here and you want to show a little extra love and support, make sure you go check out our website down below in the description section. That way you can get all the awesome shirts you see me wearing in every single video. They're all made by my beautiful wife. This one says created with a purpose. It has it on the chest and on the sleeve. It's based on Ephesians 2 verse 10. I like mine a little baggy, so it seems a little extra room to move and groove, but we got all different sizes ranging from itty bitty extra small to big and hefty 5X, a bunch of colors, different designs, all of that. I'm sure you can find something that you like or a great gift for someone that you love. Outside of that, you can always join the Gibson family here on YouTube and become a member. You can buy me a coffee. You can join the Patreon family. All those links are down below as well. By no means do you have to do any of that. Just showing up and allowing my freckle face to rant at you for a few minutes. I am greatly appreciative. I love y'all. I cannot thank you enough. Until next time, I'll be praying for you. Godspeed. I'm gone.